Hello, everybody. Hello. Excuse my intro, but as I've said before, I refuse to pay an extravagant amount for StreamYard just to be able to play an intro. And you're all sitting here waiting with bated breath for Enzo and myself. So without any further ado, here he is. Enzo is added in. There he is.
Hello.
If any of you guys were tuned in a couple of weeks ago, and last week Enzo spoke about it, but a couple of weeks ago Enzo was in, where was it again you were at, Enzo, the name of the place?
Caney, Kansas, for the
Caney.
paranormal, the Border Town Paranormal Paracon.
Yes. And so if you were sort of looking, because I did share it out, Enzo was live on Border Town Strange.
Bordertown Strange.
And he was giving a talk at the Paracon. It was really interesting. And then, one thing led to the other, and the roof caved in. And
I brought down the house with my presentation. It was so great. Yeah, we apparently we've had a lot of rain this past summer, way more than normal, and apparently the facility we were in, which is the Caney Rec Center, basically we're in the gymnasium. There had been parts of the roof that had sprung some leaks, and this insulation on the inside was basically holding all of these water. Like, I don't know. It seemed like it was pissing out water for a long time when I was there, but I don't know how many gallons or liters it would have been, but it was a lot. Enough to where when it finally busted loose during my presentation, completely soaked all of the tables and displays that we had directly underneath that portion, and it was quite the mess. So
yeah, so people like myself, I think Laura was there as well watching. Tanya, I'm pretty sure, was watching, and it was just getting interesting, and it stopped. So I just thought that this week, if Enzo wanted to, although I did spring it on him late this morning, so forgive Enzo if he's not as prepared as he normally is, but it'll all be good. But I just thought it'd be a good thing to talk about, because he was on the thing we'd watched. He spoke about the LA, the Battle of Los Angeles, and you were just or into the Washington one and stuff, and I thought, and I'm really interested in those two subjects. And so far as the aliens living in our oceans, it's just that I have always thought that anyway. You all know that if you watch me enough. But also, it's a good place to hide. And also, I saw a couple of interviews this week with a representative from is he in he's in Congress, because I see him talking Congress. Representative, and he's really funny. Burchell, is that how I say his name?
Tim Burchett.
Yeah, and he was on Tucker, and was talking about what he has seen and been privy to, and the information that's been shown to him, and he absolutely believes that they're under the ocean in certain parts. But anyway, we'll get to that a bit later too. I'll just say hey to whoever is here at the minute. Who have we got? Laura might be here listening and lurking. Sort of Regan, hello, I haven't seen you for a while. But of course we've got Enzo talking about one of his favorite subjects today, so that's cool. And what's that? Finally, hey, And Drew on his lunch break, because Drew's got a job now. If any regulars watch, you know that Drew was searching for work. He found a job, which is really good. So hello to you all, and hello to anyone who's lurking. Glad that you've called in. And I guess the first one I'd like to hear about is the one that happened first on my little list, and that is the Battle of LA. And so all I know about it, and I'll let Enzo give all the details if he's got them. What I know is that that photo. The hang on, I've got just the photo, unless you've got it, Enzo, but I do have just the photo, I think. Or I can actually, I'll just put, wait on, I'll just put this up and I'll pause it. Excuse me, everybody, I'm really good at this, not. Pause it there. I'll pause it there. But yeah, so the Battle of Los Angeles, and you can see there. I can mute it actually. You can see there in the middle what all their lights. That's not an alien. In case you haven't seen this,
the smaller globes you see around the center part where all the lights are focused. That's anti-aircraft fire that's exploding around it because they were convinced that there was an aircraft. They believed at the time a Japanese aircraft, because it's important to remember, because this actual incident was February 25th, 1942. December of 1941 is when the attack on Pearl Harbor occurred. And there had actually been a couple of other incidences on the West Coast where it was the earlier part of February, I think, maybe it was January, where a Japanese submarine surfaced just off the coast of near LA, started launching a couple of mortar rounds, or at least long-range artillery rounds at the beach, and then, dove and sped away. Didn't really do a whole lot of, damage, but it was a surprise, which Japan was famous for that several months. Yep, there you go. So Japanese attack was high on everyone's mind on the whole West Coast.
Yeah.
They even went as far as a little later into the World War II, where they were actually launching balloons, not spy balloons. They actually had incendiary bombs attached to them. Most of them got swept out into the ocean and never hurt anything, but there were a couple that did make it over, I think, southern Washington State, which is much further north there than California, and a couple other spots, with the intention of basically just setting giant forest fires was the idea. But I think the only injury or mass damage was when someone found one where it didn't detonate, and they're like, "Hey, what's this thing?" And kind of poked at it with a stick, and then it detonated. So that person died. But there were a lot of things going on west coast of the U.S. during World War II that don't get talked about a lot. This particular incident is famous UFO-wise because earlier, this happened like 3 a.m. in the morning ish, and their local radar, which again, radar was still pretty new technology back then. It was very rudimentary, and they picked up some kind of aircraft working its way down the coast of California, heading towards LA. And they did, as you see in the images here, they had blackout conditions where everybody had to turn their lights off, because that's how you navigated back in those days by aircraft, is by looking to see what streets were lit up and stuff like that. So World War II, if there was an air siren that went off, you turned off your lights. That's how it worked back then. And there even was actually, and I had never even seen it before, but there was actually a picture earlier of the like air warden or whatever they were called back then, where they would drive around and tell people, "Turn off your lights. What are you doing? The Japanese are going to bomb us."
Blackout.
Blackout. It was like blackout car or something like that, whatever it was on the car. But it was a big deal. It was very important that people did that.
Taylor. What's that? Up until a few years ago, they do a reenactment of the Battle of Los Angeles at Fort MacArthur. It was a great event. That would have been pretty cool to see.
Be interested to see that. But so for a few hours, everybody, all the because there were people that had designated jobs to man the spotlights, as you see here on the image here. They had other people with anti-aircraft guns where basically it would throw up a giant shell, sort of like an airborne shotgun shell, where it would go up to a certain altitude and then explode. And all of the debris that it would eject out would be like shrapnel and just tear planes apart. Rough stuff. If you're catching flak, you're over the target kind of thing. That's what it comes from, is throwing out the, oh, you have a visitor.
Yeah, my pretty cat.
Everybody's coming around to hear this. But so it gets to be about 3 a.m. and people start sighting what appears to be a aircraft, a brightly lit, kind of glowing type aircraft. It's wartime. They've already, with Pearl Harbor and then the submarine off the coast, just like a month or so, like a few weeks actually, at this case before that, the balloons, everything else. We're opening fire on those Japanese craft before they can get us. And they lit up the skies. 50 caliber anti-aircraft rounds, like you saw in that video there, plus the actual anti-aircraft shells that they were going off. They lit up the sky for hours. And whatever it was, that we saw earlier in that famous picture where all the spotlights or all thing is was completely unaffected by everything that they threw at, which made them, there it is, which made everybody even more panicky. Launch more, throw everything we got at it. We'll fight them back, that kind of attitude. And it just kept slowly cruising along down the coast, barely unaffected by what would be in 1942, February of 1942. This was our best. This is the best we had to offer as far as anti-aircraft stuff and everything else. And it just did not care. It just kept on slowly working its way south along the coast there of LA. So there ended up being quite a bit of damage and even some deaths, mostly from falling debris. Is these exploding rounds. Of course, there's pieces and parts to it, and all that stuff is falling down over, Los Angeles, where a lot of buildings were damaged, a couple small fires. The deaths were mostly like panic stricken, where a guy had a heart attack while driving his car, trying to race home, kind of a thing, to get back to his family. He has a heart attack and things like that.
I think there were 5 deaths. I think one was a heart attack, and I think 3 it was a car accident, and I'm not sure what the other one was. But yeah, basically panic.
It was all panic, because if you think about it, if you've ever been to Los Angeles, there's a very serene, kind of peaceful overlay over the whole thing, because the area is beautiful. It has like the same constant weather all year round. It's beautiful there. That's why so many people settle there, because the weather is amazing. Within minutes you can be to the ocean. Within an hour you can be skiing in the mountains. It's an amazing place. If it wasn't for the cost of living, I'd love to live there myself. It's a lot of great stuff in LA. But with this going on, disrupting all of that peace and solitude that you would get from, living out there in LA, people really, really freaked out. Rightfully so, because you got, there's a world war going on. You kind of, it's in your backyard and over your head all of a sudden. So a lot of people just lost it. There was one person that's like, as far as injuries, it was one of the siren wardens like sprained his ankle because he was running down the stairs and hurt himself. There was a lot of just panic related injuries and deaths from car wrecks and heart attacks and things like that. So just everybody was freaking out because this was a really, really big deal. Someone from the Los Angeles Times snapped this famous photo. This is a real photo. And there's, you can make the argument that with that many spotlights all shining on one point, it'll make kind of like a fake there's a solid thing in there because you've got so many intersecting light beams, and it kind of makes one glowy thing in the middle. I don't.
I vaguely remember an episode of the show I used to love to watch called Fake or Fact, and they reenacted this. They actually tried to reenact this, and they couldn't get it. It didn't do this when they actually got the. I should try and find it, but they actually got the spotlights, the same ones that were like really hard to get, and I don't know if they had 8.
They're really big.
Oh, they're massive. But yeah, thank you for that, Julie. Yeah, I knew 3 were in the traffic accident. I knew 1 heart attack to shore. I just couldn't remember. So it was 2 heart attacks, Enzo. But it started, from what I understand, it started around about just after 3 a.m. and they stopped firing at things at about 4:15. So almost an hour.
Because for the most part, it had slowly, whatever this object was, had slowly guided along the coast, working its way to the south, and basically got out of range. Plus, they were kind of running low on some of their ammo and everything because they were throwing everything they had at whatever this was, and it did not care. It just kept right on cruising. And so it was pretty amazing the amount of stuff that they threw up in the air at this thing, and
nothing happened. Like, where did it go? Like, what goes up has to come down. But they were near it must have, maybe a lot of it went out to sea. But
for certain parts of it, because there were certainly parts, times during that where it was over land, where it was over, Southern California, where it was passing over the land. That's how people had debris falling down on their houses and stuff like that, causing small fires and, stuff getting wrecked. But it's still one of those amazing things where a ton of people saw it, can't explain it, and there's never really been an explanation. It's not like, 30 years later, somebody comes out and is like, oh yeah, that was a secret Japanese armored blimp that, or swamp gas or whatever those other kind of nonsense things that.
It's even like the headline at the time, this guy Knox, who was in charge of the Navy, he reckons, there's nothing there at all, right? So he says nothing there to see, nothing to see. It was just jitters. Someone got the jitters and they were firing basically at nothing. But then the other interesting thing was that Stimson, who was at the time, was the war senator of the war. You know how we have them now.
Secretary of War or Defense at that time.
Secretary of War, Secretary of War. So he said that it was planes. They were firing at planes. So he must have tried to indicate that they were actually firing at the Japs. But if it was the Japanese, they had to have hit them at some point.
They were threw up a lot of lead into the air there that night, and they would have certainly destroyed something, and they didn't.
Yeah, and how could, for example, look, it could have been one of those balloons you were talking about, could have been. However, if it were, a couple of things that come to mind for me were, number one, it could have been, which would explain the slow movement, but they were still firing at it. And if it was one of those balloons, they would have shot it down. They would have hit it. They had all those lights on it, and you can see where
an aircraft gun would certainly make quick work of any kind of balloon.
Now, if it was a UFO, it's probably got its shields up, as Captain Kirk would say, and and they were fine. And then I wonder where they went to next, Enzo. Probably it probably went out on the coast and went home to its sea-bound base.
Well, but I don't know if you want to get into the sea-bound bases or not, but curiously, one of the suspected areas is right there off the coast near Catalina and Malibu. Is one of the highly suspected areas that people believe it could be.
Yeah, and exactly. So they were either jittery, firing at nothing, or, as the Secretary of War said, they were firing at other planes, but they missed every single one of them, or it was something that they still to this day can't explain, henceforth, unidentified, what do we call them now? Stupid UAP.
Unidentified aerial phenomenon. Yeah,
yeah, so it
you.
is what it is. But we will talk about the underground, undersea bases soon. But the next one I wanted to hit on was this one. For those of you who are not aware, in 1952, let's see how good my memory is, July 19th, I think, or June. July. Let me see how good my memory is from my... but there was a sighting above, in Washington. There you go, July 19th, 11:40 p.m. Do you want to take it from here, Enzo, and tell everybody what happened?
This was a Saturday, July 19th, and basically there were reports, as we see the people here, there were actually hits on local radar where they're seeing basically almost a formation style of aircraft that were completely unidentified flying near Washington, D.C. So 1952, we're well into the beginnings of the Cold War. So might be those evil Russians coming to get us on the East Coast this time versus Battle of Los Angeles. And they launched, fighters up after them. They're tracking them on radar. Basically, a lot of these, whatever they were, these unidentified vehicles flew over the actual capital of the United States, Washington, D.C. There's a famous picture that's out on the internet if you ever research this, where it shows the Capitol building, very much like that drawing that we saw.
But with the photos.
That's fake. That's not a real photo. But it probably did look similar to that because a lot of people on the ground report seeing large glowing objects in formation, a V-type formation flying around the DC area. They launched aircraft up there at first, especially there that first night on the 19th. They'd get up there and they'd get vectored in, by air traffic control, which has them on radar. They're like, yeah, they're right here. And they would get there and they would just flitter away and just be gone. They'd split all up and they just disappear. There were a few other areas that would report them and they'd zoom over there and kind of have the same thing. There was never really an opportunity on the 19th to get a lock on and shoot at them, because back in those days, I don't even, 1952, they didn't really.
I don't even think they had that capability.
Nothing like that. It was all still Red Baron level, shooting a gun kind of a thing out of it.
Well, I know that they talked about that's where this cartoon came from. The pilot who saw it,
Yep.
But it
civilian pilots saw it, military pilots, everybody.
Military pilot, and it just sort of, as soon as he saw it, that was it. That on that night, boom, he saw it, and then boom, they were gone. Until, and yes, Puerto Rican, yes, they did enact the Security Act. This will get to that. I've even got a picture of it. But yeah. So, but on the 26th, wasn't it, Enzo? The 26th that it came back.
It was the very following weekend, the next Saturday, that it happened again, where you had these swarms of fighter formation style, basically just lights, because that's all they're described are as large glowing objects. No structured craft. But they were putting off their own light so that you could spot them from a distance and even from the ground. So the same thing happens again. There are stories that some of the fighter, Air Force flights that went up after them actually started shooting at them and stuff like that, because the second weekend in a row you've got someone invading the country's capital's airspace, and supposedly shot at them, and with no effect. Very, very much like the Battle of Los Angeles. They shot at them and it didn't do anything.
And that's kind of that. And then what? But I know it intrigues me. It really intrigues me that it could be. I know 1952. Everything so far as our equipment. This guy Enzo. His name escapes me, but he looks so familiar. Did he have anything to do with Roswell? Because he's the one that.
He I forget his name too, but
Yeah.
he is famous for making a few comments about UFOs and stuff like that. Usually coming out originally and saying, yeah, we don't know what these things are, and then quickly hustled back into in front of the press maybe a day or so later, like, oh yeah, it's flocks of birds, it's a weather anomaly, it's all of these things. Don't panic. We have the situation under control.
Yeah, and this is what you were talking about, Puerto Rican. This is the thing that came out after that. So Project Blue Book, I think, was around at this time as well. But everyone was basically saying nothing to see here. And it was after that, after the Washington thing, that you're correct, that this yes, thank you, Julie Samford, that was his name. So yeah, shortly after that you weren't allowed to talk about it anymore, and everything started to get covered up. Here he is, my favourite man. So does anybody, is anyone interested in the latest on the underwater bases? I think Puerto Rican probably is. Julie probably would be too. This is my favourite. Well, one of my favourite. I like Kennedy too. You know, Senator Kennedy, the one from. Where's he from? Oh God, where's he from? Alabama. And he comes out with the funniest things. He says the funniest things. But anyway, but along with him, I like him because they both. This man seems very nice, and this is what he had. This is just to clip it. He was on. If you're interested to see his full interview. I know it's Tucker Carlson. Not everybody likes Tucker Carlson. He can be a bit out there, but he does interview him. So there's an interview up, and you might be interested to see what he's got to say. But let me see. I'll just check it's turned up for you because I can't remember how I've got the volume.
We think they're coming in from way out. Maybe they did millennia ago, but they're here and they're in these deep water areas, and that's why. I mean, like we say, we know more about the face of the moon than we do what's going on there. Now, we have a higher propensity of sightings around these 5 or 6, I believe, deep water areas.
So that's it. So even he said, so what I saw was when he was on Tucker, that's just a snippet. When he was on Tucker, which is after this clip that you saw there, he was on Tucker, he's talking about everything that he's seen, etc. Now, he says, yep, he's with what he has been privy to and what he has seen when in these things that he thinks that's where they are. And that's coming from him. He's seen more than we have. But yeah, bye, Drew. Have a good day. Have a good day at work. Working on it is Monday here. I'm thinking, why are you working on a Sunday? Duh, it's Monday here. It's Sunday night where you are. Hi, Jethro. But yeah, I don't know, with all of the sightings, with what came out in the New York Post a few years back, with the pilots that said they've had these interactions with these objects that go into the ocean. And as the representative was saying there, he said that there's six main spots, and as you referred to it before, and so the ocean just off of, it's Pacific Ocean, isn't it? Pacific Ocean, just off of California, is one of the spots.
Catalina Island, Malibu Beach area is considered a hot spot. There's been a few folks that have done some research out there. There's documentary called something in the sky, somewhere in the sky, I forget now. Basically it's the original UAPX gang had set up this set of cameras and sensors and stuff like that on top of a resort hotel that they basically rented the roof off of for a weekend, where they did a long-term study over day and night with all of their sensors and cameras and everything else, and they did kind of appear to catch what kind of looked like a wormhole, where some of these objects were like coming into just a little bit out into the ocean there off of Catalina. So it's very strange. There's a lot of strange stuff. That's not that far away from where the Nimitz group was for the original Tic Tac sighting. Columbus had a famous sighting going across. It was strange lights and stuff, which in 1492 nothing had lights on it. So
well, not to mention the Bermuda Triangle.
Yep, there's the Bermuda Triangle. One of the other hot spots that's famously talked about is actually down in the Bahamas. There's a spot kind of amongst some of the islands just southeast of where Florida is that is super deep. It's just the way the islands are arranged. There's an area that's very, very deep, much deeper than other parts of the Bahamas, and there's a ton of UFO sightings that come out of that general area. Curiously enough, just need to say this for full disclosure, not that far away from there, there is a U.S. Navy underwater testing center. Basically, it's like underwater Area 51 for the Navy, where they test a lot of different stuff out there. But certainly none of it is glowing and going up into the sky out of the water. That's something very different.
Or is it? Dun, 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 dun. You never know what they're up to. Like that, I saw someone talking about it, and they're going, oh, well, surely the president would know, And I'm like, no, I reckon they're right in when they say presidents come and go. So that's why it's all within this deep.
The intelligence community that is always there for no matter who the president is. They'll be there in that intelligence position before the next president comes in, and they'll be there after they leave. They view the president and even Congress and the Senate as temporary positions where they'll either get voted out or they'll be found out by having a too young of a person in their home on a weekend kind of a thing, where they can go at any time. So a lot of the intelligence agencies distrust elected officials because they're not going to be, you're not going to tell somebody that's only going to be there for 4 years all of your secrets kind of a thing. And there's
I think I think which I think a lot of people think, except it's just probably never going to be, when we vote a government in, no matter what country you're in, you vote a government in because it's kind of like a household. When you're running a household, someone is the head of the household because they've got to know what bills to pay, how much they've got for food that week, etc. So when you vote a government in, that's what you're doing. You're sort of saying, well, you run the household. But that doesn't mean you should keep secrets from everybody else in the house. And the government is elected by us. We say who we want to do this, that, and the other. We don't elect them to keep secrets from us. We elect them, so something like this, to my way of thinking, is not a threat to humanity because so far nothing's happened, only the stories, of abductions and stuff. If they've got info, if they know for sure this is real, they should be telling us so people can keep their eye out and people know possibly, oh, okay, cool. So that's what I don't think anybody would. They do say, as you know, they did a thing and said, oh, if we tell people it could collapse. Yeah, that'd be the same. People aren't going to go crazy. There's nothing to say there's not another. If it's because they think religion will fall and whatever, no, it won't.
And let's look, 2018 is when the New York Times article came out with, gun camera type footage of, objects that are unknown and things like that. some of which have kind of been debunked, or it could be something else. But and there have since been several different congressional hearings with eyewitnesses coming in saying they've seen strange things. And for the most part, people across the world, it's like, okay, I still got to get up and go to work in the morning. So,
it's not like it's winning the lotto. We're not winning tax lotto. It's not like all of a sudden you can stop going to work or whatever. It's just the reality that there is another species living on the planet, sharing the planet with us. Cool. Maybe they can assist. Or maybe that's the point. Maybe I don't know, but it just seems very odd to me that the government hides this. And I don't think, I know Obama hinted at being shown something. I know the stories of long ago when I think it was Nixon took, who was the actor? He took
Jackie Gleason.
Jackie Gleason. That's it. Nixon said, "Hey, yeah, I'm going to show you something." And Jackie told the story. It was Jackie or his wife told the story.
His wife actually told the story. Jackie never said anything. But Jackie Gleason from various movies and TV shows. The Honeymooners was his famous TV show. Yes, where the big joke was, he was going to beat his wife so hard that she was going to end up on the moon. Bam, zoom. It's like, oh, okay. Different times, everyone. But basically, him and Nixon were good friends, and they were golf partners. They go golfing all the time. And Jackie Gleason had a place down in Florida. They were, shooting around a golf there in Florida one night, and this is certainly an abbreviated story where he's like, "Hey, what are you doing tonight? Got anything going on?" "No, nothing." "Okay, I'll be by your place later." Where, and according to the story, where Nixon pulls up in a car by himself, nobody's with him, no Secret Service, none of that stuff. He said, "Get in." They drive to Homestead Air Force Base, which is in the southern part of Florida. They of course recognize the president, so they wave him through, and he takes him to a hangar where there supposedly were little freezers with basically gray aliens sitting inside these little freezers, where he was showing Jackie Gleason. And Jackie Gleason, of course, was never known to be like a UFO type person. However, after this supposedly happened, he had a house built for himself in upstate New York, which was his other property. It kind of looks a lot like a UFO. It's a round house. You just pull up the picture. It's pretty cool. And so, does that verify the story? I don't know. But supposedly he was, according to his wife, Jackie Gleason's wife at the time, he was just death and gray after, this visit, midnight visit kind of a thing where he ran off someplace with, the president of the United States. Basically going through those steps of shock and disbelief that, holy crap, it's all real.
All right, I'll have to open it a different way. It won't let me. Stupid StreamYard. I do have a picture of the house. It's pretty cool. Where have I put it? Desktop. I'm moving you over there so I can find my screen. Oh, I've got a picture of him. There's that one. And there we go. All right, I found it. And then come back to you. Present, share screen, window, this one, share. So that's for those who don't know, in case you're thinking, here's Gleason, and in case you don't know what President Nixon looked like, that's Nixon. So this is Mr. Nixon and this is Mr. Gleason, Jackie Gleason, but this is the house. Check it. Isn't it cute?
I think that's it. I thought his place was way bigger.
Oh, well, hang on. Let me double check then. Just because it's me doesn't mean I'm right. Wait a minute. Well, it says that's it, but it says it's on the market for 5.5 million. Crikey. No, I'm pretty sure that's it. Let's have a look.
Out of the way here. Yeah, this is it's a little more. This is his actual house where it was all round. Everything was.
Yeah, well, that's yeah. I don't know. So I don't know what. Maybe it was. Hang on a second. I'll just. Where are we?
Pictures of the inside.
Yeah, you got it.
Ah,
oh, what happened there?
We didn't like that photo, but
yeah, that's what I was finding before, but I haven't. Yeah, but it's pretty cool. But it said that he did that because it was inspired by the UFO that he saw.
This is a separate house outside of it. It's like a guest house.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay. Well,
this
if anyone
is
wants
the inside of the main house. Look at this place. Holy crap.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It would be interesting. Yeah. Yes, Julie. Enzo's found the right pictures. I was showing you the guest house. So it's definitely on the property, but that's the guest house. Imagine staying there in the guest house. I'll have the guest house.
Look at all the woodwork, the stained wood and stuff. God, it's beautiful. This giant fireplace. Just huge place. Got a bar, full kitchen, a round bed. A round shower. Look at it. When was this place built? It's got like the multiple heads of the shower in there.
I mean, it would have been well made. He was a pretty rich man. Hi, Debbie. Oh, yeah, I got rid of the Instagram. I think it's still there, though. You can't really delete Instagram. It gives me it. We're just showing it, Debbie, because it was Jackie Gleason's home after he saw, after President Nixon, supposedly, according to Jackie's wife, took Gleason to see some aliens. So the story goes. Regan says the staircase reminds him of Da Vinci's flying machine design.
Yeah, his helicopter design, which is like this weird spiral on the top of this contraption that would spin, was the idea.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But how did we get onto that subject? I don't know. It would have been my fault.
Like anything, you can certainly get deviated off to little cool stories.
Yeah, but we were talking about the underground bases and different. That's right. We were talking about how presidents don't necessarily get told anything, but it's just really interesting, and it's. I don't know, like I say, I don't know why it has to be a secret. I don't know why governments can't tell us. I don't know what they expect. What do they expect people to do? Like, oh, if anything, I'm more concerned that they're not telling us and they're not talking about it, because I don't trust any of our governments. If they were to come into the atmosphere and announce themselves, I don't trust any of our governments to be nice about it. I think they'll try and shoot them out of the sky. I just don't trust them. I don't think, unless they can communicate, and even if they do, I still don't trust our governments. They probably go, yeah, we'll talk to you. We'll be friends. Get them. I don't know. I don't.
There is an alternate theory that that distrust of elected officials that only come around every 4 to 8 years and stuff like that, where the idea is there was this secret group, if you want to call it the Majestic 12 group or whatever, back when all of this started back in the late 40s with your Roswell crash in 1947 and moving forward with a few other crashes across the world. that this group was designed where they were very independent outside of everything else, to the point where they almost have become like this breakaway civilization kind of a thing, where they have their own military. They have whatever the results are of the super fantastic technology they may have been able to glean from these wrecked spacecraft and stuff like that, so that the world governments can't really move against them without it being a huge full-blown war in the middle of nowhere kind of a thing, maybe even within their own countries, where some of these things are. And the reason behind that being that we're not ready for some of the technological advances and stuff like that. If you've got the initial response for any kind of like new technology is the military people are going to be say, that's amazing, that's fantastic. How do I weaponize it? How do I turn it into something that blow stuff up or kill people or spy on that kind of stuff?
That was exactly what happened with the A-bomb, because the scientist invented, split the atom, and then went, we've split the atom. How can we use this in a good way? Ooh, or a bad way, and henceforth, there you go, the A-bomb. Bastards. Let's see.
Now imagine something that makes the A-bomb look like a sparkler by comparison, where even if it's like the warp drive, we'll just say like the Star Trek warp drive kind of a thing, where you're bending space-time around your spacecraft so that you can go faster than the speed of light by kind of working a loophole behind Einstein's theories of relativity and stuff like that, which technically you could do with that kind of thing where you're bending space-time around your ship. Imagine a weaponized version of that. If you flew, if the Enterprise did warp speed over a city, where it's actually bending space-time, its reality itself is getting warped and bent around so that the ship can go faster, kind of a thing. It would turn the city inside out, just doing a low flyby over. And it would happen in a nanosecond. You wouldn't even know you would never know what happens. Just suddenly, whatever the city is literally turned inside out, worse than any kind of earthquake or anything, like any kind of damage that any kind of natural source could actually occur, to include a nuclear weapon. But
the type of a thing is, if you're right in the middle of it, it's not going to hurt you, is it? I mean, because you're going to be dead in a second, so you're not even going to feel it. It's just going to be 1 minute you are like now, and then next minute, boom, dust. Like, I don't know. And if everything they say is true, it doesn't matter, then we go somewhere else anyway. It's only our soul that escapes. So they say.
There's some people that argue that too.
Yeah, I'm not sure about anything, but I must say with what's happening worldwide since last year, something's changing. I think people are getting sick of being lied to. And so that's what caused some changes. And now, hopefully, at some point, something's going to happen, and we'll find out. Because there's humans on the planet that are good humans. There's many good humans who would not think to kill someone, would not think not to share, or not to pass it on and pass it forward. I like to say pass it forward. There's many. Unfortunately, the good humans are outnumbered by the dickheads, I reckon. Or maybe not that. The dickheads are in charge.
I mean, the wealth of technology, it's just unimaginable of the things that could come out of it, where if somebody were to come out tomorrow and it's like, hey, I worked at one of these joints, here's all the plans for all the stuff we figured out. And everyone on the planet could have a shoebox size container that would power their entire home forever. But with a little bit of tinkering, could leave a 200-mile wide hole in the earth. If you gave them that same technology. It's just that's the part where There are some scientists and technologists that we've kind of hit like a physics dead end the last like 30, 40 years, where we were making, various progression, and then everything kind of stopped. And some believe like the idea of like string theory and things like that are intentionally designed to be misleading, where it doesn't actually lead to anything. It's all BS. But that's what's being taught in schools. That's what everybody's pushing and all that stuff. But it doesn't actually lead to anything because it's so confusing and kind of mysterious. And we need to run more experiments, which means we need more money to run more experiments and all that, so that we don't reach that level of technology that we're certainly not ready for. Where,
we'll look at. Yeah,
I'd love to have, that Star Trek style, transporters and warp drives and replicators and all that stuff. But if you were to just do a little minor tinkering to that same exact technology, you've got a devastating weapon of that you can't even imagine the amount of destruction you could do with what seems like a simple thing.
I think because I'm sort of drawn now to thinking there's something greater than all of this, than all UFOs, not UFOs, just there's something greater. And if there is something greater, like I think there is, it's probably time to clean the slate. It's time to go, shit, I made an awful big mistake. I've given them thousands and thousands of years to get over this killing thing and to be kind to each other. It's not working. It's getting worse. Let me send a comet. Let me start some earthquakes. And, let's just... Only problem is, if that's what's going to happen, he also wipes out animals, and I don't want animals to get hurt. Maybe a pick. Maybe if there is the God and he's going to do that, he can go, all right, well, that person really likes squirrels. That person really loves bears. That person wouldn't hurt anybody, never have, whatever. And he can just pick some good ones and pick our brains, so to speak, what makes them okay, but what makes the other ones argumentative and nasty. And, he needs to work on his invention a little bit and make it a bit better, so that when humans come back again, they're not wanting to freaking kill each other and steal each other's land. And, I don't know. I'm just saying, God, if you're listening, you could do better. You could do better.
There's certainly, like in the scenario that we've kind of set up, that they're intentionally holding things back. Who the F are they to decide what's being held back and what isn't?
Just like you or me, if they know something, you should share it. And if it's true, it might even make, I don't know if Debbie remembers, Tanya would remember, I used to say, they just need to invent it. They probably have invented a spray. Actually, this is biblical. Does anyone know the answer to this? There was in Egypt, I think it was to do with Moses, can't remember, when God said, paint above your doors with the blood of the lamb, because on this particular night I'm going to send a mist through. I remember seeing it in a movie, and I'm sure it was
the Ten Commandments.
The Ten Commandments, yeah, that's it. And then the mist comes through and people drop dead, except for the people that put the blood above their door. Why can't God just do something like that again? Boom! Except it didn't really leave good people behind either. Yul Brynner was in it. Yul Brynner, I remember Yul. He was the Pharaoh.
Heston, Yul Brynner, yeah, it's great.
Oh, that was a good movie. I might try and find that and watch that again. But you see, there's things to do, like a magic mist. It'll just travel throughout the land. It won't hurt any animals. It'll just somehow get into the brains of anybody who has evil thoughts or evil demons. Could get into it. I'm just playing everybody now. Well, I don't know if God regrets making him, but I know his young son.
I would
Is it?
certainly think he's probably disappointed, or she
He'd
is
be very,
disappointed.
but I
They
don't
are
think he'd be.
disappointed.
He won't be really disappointed in me because I like animals. But then again, he might be disappointed in me
Well,
because
and
I
that's
say,
the thing is, you can't just wipe the slate clean because you're getting rid of the bad people and the good people.
"Thank you,
So,
Julie." That was it. That's it. It was a plague. But because I remember in the movie, I'm pretty sure the Pharaoh doesn't do it, and his son dies. Someone dies, and Yul
yep.
Brenner's really upset, or maybe even Yul dies. I don't know. Oh, well, there you go. Well, then what's he fighting with his son for? Lucifer. Why is he fighting with Lucifer? Lucifer doesn't like humans either. So why doesn't God just say, yeah, you're right, son, I'll start again? But there you go.
He's
Hope
just
not.
jealous of our free will.
Oh, that's right. Well, that was a mistake.
Was it?
I think so. Because just imagine if you didn't know any. Oh, but then again,
Horrible.
yeah, I'll take that back, actually. You should have free will. I know, Taylor, germ warfare. Well, they've already started that, really. Let's be serious. I mean, what do you think they do in their little, what do you call it? Their little labs when they're working on.
It's only a few years ago that we had to take a little in the arm to work.
Right. And as it turns out, that was bullshit. So, and now that's linked to all sorts of other things. So, who knows? Who knows? But there you go. What was that? I perform a similar mist, but that's after extreme chili.
I have a similar mist here as well from some burritos.
Yeah, I know. But he was a fallen angel, but he still called God Dad. So that's why I say his son. They all still the father. But I refer to Lucifer as Lucy. And I just reckon he's a bit naughty too and should behave himself. But he won't because he's a bit naughty. But, what is it? You can laugh and joke about things, but it has been pretty evident in the last, particularly probably since last, I want to say, June, July, approximately, that how if the devil's real, and I think he might be, if demons are real, they're friggin' doing a good job of taking over people's normal brains at the moment. Actually, someone said, was it you, Debbie? Someone earlier. Huh? What?
Just watch TikTok. You'll see it all over the place. People just going crazy.
Oh, just crazy, like crazy stuff. And you're thinking, oh, my God. What is wrong with people? Like, I've actually looked at people on video and thought to myself, well, if you went to sleep and didn't wake up tomorrow, I'm sure a lot of people would be very sad. But then, how do you wake these people up? But it's interesting. Debbie was saying it about the 5G, 6G. I don't know about the 5G, 6G, but I do know that, and Enzo would know this too, and Enzo probably knows the answer to this question because this is all off the top of my head. There was some kind of a weapon they developed. I don't know when, because again, I'm going by memory here, and it's a bit vague. I think it's got something to do with the MK Ultra, but it was some kind of thing that emits a signal as similar to the 5G, but it was making people do weird things, and then when they would turn it off, they would stop. And I'm trying to remember, it might have been in that book I was reading, and I'm like, oh my God, is that what's happening? Maybe some people are easily affected by this crap, and then there's other people that it doesn't affect them at all. I think I'm one of those people that it doesn't affect at all. Sometimes it does, but that's just because I watch too much YouTube. But thankfully I have Enzo who says, stop it. Stop watching it. I'm like,
if you get exposed to too much electromagnetic radiation of any kind, and we're talking, radio frequencies of any type, where you've got a lot of it kind of swarming your brain. It kind of, because your brain works off of electricity. That's how your brain, the neurons in your brain are sending electrical signals throughout your brain. Where if you get a heavy concentration of any kind of EM radiation, you can experience strange things where you'll have hallucinations and strange ideas about things going on around you. So much so that that's one of the things, like at least with my group, that we look at. We check certain areas for like haunting areas and ghosts and stuff like that. Is because there's one site that we looked at. It's a movie theater that was originally built back, I think, in the 30s, early 30s, late 20s, that we did some research on. And the actual projection room, because back in those days, and I guess it's sort of still true today, if you use, the actual film stock where there's hundreds of miles of film, that stuff is super flammable. So they used to build the projection booths into like this solid structure with, and you've probably seen it on movies and TV where the projection room has like these little tiny slots that the film projector comes in. There's actually like little levers and stuff like that to where you can pull this alarm kind of thing. Basically, if something catches on fire in there, the whole place is basically just going to burst into flames because the film itself is so super flammable. And there were actually little metal shutters that would shut down those little tiny openings, if you've ever seen like old movie theater kind of things, where it would shut off all the air so that basically it would snuff out any kind of fire before it got too started. Basically, it makes this death box where it's just this crazy box where everything's encased all in there. And you've got a lot of electronics, you've got a lot of stuff, electricity, especially unshielded electrical lines, which you certainly had in the 20s and 30s, where it's basically just a chunk of copper with like tar paper wrapped around it, where those energies affect your brain. And if you were like in the projection booth from one of these old things, you're just getting bombarded with this EM radiation that it'll make you see things. And this particular place where we went to and did our investigation is because I have a EM detector that's not the one with like the little lights on it. Mine's a little fancier than that because I'm a fancy man. I went in there with mine. Mine's like a tricorder from Star Trek. I don't even understand how it works some of the times, but it was just going off the scale with some of the EM stuff just from the electrical wiring running into this place, because it was this old, electrical wiring with like, it might have like cheesecloth wrapped around a hunk of, copper.
Well, they weren't too careful back in the day. Yeah. And copper is
they didn't know. It wasn't like that was something, electricity is it's one, just like radiation and anything else. You have some new thing that you don't think anything about it. The Russians are certainly not afraid of radiation. They don't. It's this mysterious thing I can't see or smell or touch. It's fine. And then they have whole plants melting down around them and stuff like that, where it's and irradiating everybody and thinking it's okay. So it's an educational thing, as our technology increases, that people need to become aware of some of those little OSHA standards to know that what's healthy and what's not around you in your work center.
Yeah, sort of. I just had a quick squiz. No, but it could have been something like it. It was they tested it on. I'm pretty sure they tested it on soldiers, and when they would turn it on, it gave them. It gave them really bad headaches. They felt sick, like it controlled, and it was a wave. I'm gonna look it up and I'll let you know next week, because I know I've read it somewhere and it scared the absolute crapper out of me. Then again, it might be on the Wi-Fi files somewhere. Maybe I should look it up there, because maybe I'm wrong. But
we'll go ahead and fast forward to the part where we talk about the brown note.
Brown note? What's a brown note?
is the nickname for, it's a very specific frequency that on a wide broadcast, like it's a form of crowd control where you've got a group of protesters or argumentative people storming the castle gates, where you can fire up the antenna and a very specific frequency is beamed over the crowd, and they uncontrollably poo their pants.
Ooh.
Rendering them not so willing to fight anymore, kind of a thing.
Well, they should introduce that in a little thing you can clip on for people that are constipated. See, it could be used for good. I don't know. Debbie, I'm reading some of the things you're writing. Just from me to you, if you're feeling a bit low today or down or anything, I'm with you. Lots of people are shitheads. I just look at the world and think, the last few weeks I've looked at the world and shook my head and thought there are some demons walking around this planet that are disguised as regular human beings, but they're freaking not. They're either regular human beings that have been possessed, or for whatever reason, my eyes have been open to people that have always existed, just you kind of don't have anything to do with them because they're assholes. But I've never seen, it's almost like a deluge of revolting human beings. And I've noticed it more so probably in the last year. But
the good side of that is now you know who they are, because they are telling you who they are. The disturbing part is it's way more people than a lot of people thought. Everybody thought it's like, all right, there's maybe a couple hundred people that are kind of wacky and think this. No, it's like tens of thousands of people that are this level of disturbed. And to find that out is shocking for a lot of people.
I think Rican, yes. I think that's the one I'm thinking of. I'll look more into that because I thought it was possibly real. Yeah, but I don't know. I'll look into that. Yes, but that's what I mean. And I just, and I think just there's strange things that it's kind of like, how can I word this? It's kind of like something happened and a switch was switched, and all of a sudden things seem a lot more clear. I can't, it's had nothing to do with anything in particular, just kind of like maybe worldwide something happened at such a point that everything that was sort of hidden and like where you just didn't see all the badness happening, all of a sudden this little switch was flicked and it was like, shit, didn't know that was going on, or oh no, and it's happening so fast. Like just look at the poor people in the UK at the moment. It's really scary. Everything's scary, and people are not nice. Like people, that's the thing about humans. There's good humans, there's bad humans, but also the human race is more prone to want to fight than be peaceful, and more like if it's going to save their skin, they're happy to let someone else die or someone else take the fall. Again, not everybody, but probably half and half, I reckon. Whereas you might have someone who'll jump in front and push someone out of the way, and then you'll have someone who'll just look and watch it happen. So the look and watch it happen people are the ones you've got to be careful of, I reckon. But I don't know. Something's just weird. Oh, Jethro, thank you, sweetheart. Oh, that's really cute. And I don't know.
Super sticker. I think that's you with the little heart glasses on there. I can see it. Yeah.
Oh, you can see it. Oh, because I'm in the thing. Hang on. Let me see if I've still got it. Hang on. I haven't got a sticker, but let's have a look. Which one do I like? I still like this one. This is still my favourite. Oh, what? It won't let me. I can't share it. I've got it there and it says, no, you've got to pay. I'm not paying anything. But thank you, Jethro. Thank you. That's so kind. Oh, dear. Thank you very much. Hi, Dee. Hi, Dee. Let's see, what's Regan saying? COVID was a time we should have reflected better, but the worst came out instead of when we were stuck into our actual selves.
That's another one of those eye-opening things here the last few years where a lot of people are like, oh my God, this person is going absolutely loony over wearing a mask and getting your shots and all of this other stuff.
Look, and I remember, like I remember when the COVID thing started, and it just started. We were in lockdown, but it just started, and there was all this talk about everything. It was before I saw Joe Rogan talk about anything or anything like that. I was just going by my nursing experience, and Dee will appreciate this. My nursing experience had shown me that influenza A was the worst thing you could get. And when you worked in aged care, if anyone got influenza A, they were likely to die. And we were losing, at that time when COVID came out, approximately 3,000 people a year in Australia would die from influenza A, right? So out comes the COVID thing. And I remember saying to a friend, whoop, whoop, why are we in lockdown? It is a virus. It's a flu-like thing. What the hell? Oh, but look at all the people. Look at all the people that are dying. Look at all the people that are dying. And I saw it, and it was confusing. However, now we know what it was, how it worked, etc.
That's right. It was bat soup. That's what I heard on CNN. They said it was bat soup that started this whole thing.
And then I still remember someone saying to Trump, President Trump, why do you keep calling it the China virus? And him going, because it's made in China.
It started, yeah.
I've actually got it.
100 years ago, it was called the Spanish flu, but actually it started in Kansas, oddly enough, with
an army base, I think, wasn't it? Army base, yeah. But my point, I guess the point I'm trying to make is that that was a terrible time. And Debbie knows influenza A. And from my point of view at the time, I'm saying to people, I'm not getting the immunisation because I'm not worried about it. It's just a freaking flu. I'll just make sure I maintain whatever. But then came if you don't get it, you can't work. Right. And I'm like, ooh. And you know what, Dee? Still here, when you apply for a job, it still says, have you been immunised for COVID? Now, they aren't making you take it, because I said to the employer when I filled that bit in, I said, do you still make this mandatory? Oh, we prefer if you have it, but no. And I'm like, well, good, because I'm not injecting myself with that crap. But it's too late. I've already injected myself with the Pfizer one. So I'm stuffed. If there's going to be anything go wrong, I'll guarantee that that'll be what it's from. Maybe I can sue them. But I can't. Thank you, President Reagan. That was his fault. Let's see. What's Sword asking? Have you ever heard of 66? Of the New Jersey? No. Was that in the water off of New Jersey? Because that's where they said all those drones were going. Didn't they?
The whole drone thing,
it's still weird.
I still think that was either Russia or China with like a shipping container ship out to sea kind of a thing, launching stuff, flexing their muscles kind of a thing against the U.S. However, we're seeing very similar kind of things across Northern Europe right now, where all like the classical Nordic countries and stuff like that are seeing floods of these drones to the point where they have to close their airport because there's so many of them, planes can't land and take off.
Yeah, so someone's up to monkey business. You know, and it's really annoying. Sorry to hear that, Dee, but I'm sure she'll be fine, because I really don't think, I don't know, I don't think it's as bad as A. Well, you can let me know.
Let's be fair here. COVID certainly was a bad thing if you got it, and you had comorbidities, you were over a certain age, all of these things. If you were caught unprepared by it, you very much like influenza, ARB, you were going to have a bad time. And
yeah, like I lost my taste. I got it. Because I got COVID, even though I had 4 shots or whatever it was. I still got COVID.
You still have me on your show, so some would say you have no taste at all. But
but yeah, it's just interesting. So now it's kind of to a point where I hope, but I'm not convinced, I hope that if the governments come out and say, oh, this, and this lockdown, that people go, no. But then that's the problem. You have governments that say, if you don't do, which is what they did here, and I don't know, actually you can tell me, Enzo, because I wasn't really at the time paying much attention to America, but here in Australia, if you did not do as you were told, you would be arrested or fined heavily. And if on the Facebook, like they're doing in England now, if on the Facebook you said, oh, let's stand up against this, let's meet in the park and have a conversation, arrested. They actually went in, I can't remember, Dee might remember this, I'm pretty sure she was from Victoria or South Australia, a pregnant mum wrote that, let's all meet at the park and discuss what our options are, this isn't right. And they went to her house and it was on footage, they arrested this pregnant mother. You know, you can't, because she was inciting whatever. And I'm like, so...
We had some stories like that. They were mostly in big cities. Because that was actually the funny thing about the United States during all of that in 2020, 2021, is when you got outside of the big cities in the U.S., nobody put their mask on. Nobody did any of that crap. You could have a small shop in the middle of nowhere and you're stopping off for gas and you've got your little mask on because, you know, that's what you're told to do. And nobody else in the place is looking at it. They're just looking at it like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, you keep on. You can wear it if you like. I don't care. But there were certainly cases in the United States. It was Southern California. A guy was surfing by himself, no one else on the entire beach, and got arrested because he was, not. It's like, what are you arresting him for? What did he do that was so wrong? Really? Come on.
Wasn't it News Scum that said to people you can't eat at restaurants, etc., but he did?
That's the thing is, you work in the medical health field. Does it make any sense at all that you're allowed to go to a restaurant, but you have to wear a mask but when you sit down and you're eating, you can take your mask off and you can shovel the food into your mouth and drink your drink. But if you decide to go up for seconds at the salad bar, you have to put your mask on. And it's so ridiculous. That's the thing is, if they had gotten to the point where it was like, because when it all started, I was like, okay, here's how it's going to work. This is how I imagined it would work is total lockdowns. The only people that are out in the streets are like maybe like state troopers and stuff like that to make sure people weren't crossing state lines and stuff like that. A serious actual lockdown. Not, okay, everything's locked down. But if you want to go to Walmart, you can go to Walmart if you wear this little printed thing that you got off this 3D printed mask thing in front of your face. This will surely protect you against the.
Well, I remember when we had lockdown here. We weren't. Refresh my memory. It was a bit different in Victoria, but I think it was the same for shopping. You were allowed to, I think at first they said do online shopping, but for those who couldn't, you were allowed to go to the supermarket at certain hours. They staggered the hours. or certain days. I think it was if you had, I think if I'm remembering correctly, if you had a number plate that was odd or even, like you had to take turns on what days you could go to the supermarket and wear a mask. So I think lots of people had to get a lot of food, because I think that's what a lot of people were doing. That's how they got out of their houses. But hi, Stormy. But yeah, I just
one of my neighbors, she was like, she's in her mid-70s back when all this was going on. I would go to her beforehand. It's like, do you need anything from the store? Do you need what? Give me your list. I will go out for you. And I actually even went as far just to kind of, so she had something different. I put her onto my Costco membership. So we would go together to Costco, because you were allowed to go to Costco. Apparently, you can't catch anything in Costco because, of course, you had to wear your mask inside.
Wearing a mask,
but it got her out of the house. And of course, she was super kind of freaked out at first, the first few times. But afterwards, she was like, this really isn't that big of a deal, is it?
Oh, but, look, it was funny. It was funny, strange times. And I hope we never have to do it again, unless the zombie apocalypse starts and people start.
And that's the thing is, if a serious real world, like really bad thing happens, a lot of people are going to be like, no, screw you, I'm not doing that shit again. But it might, how do you tell? Because you can't believe those same sources that were telling you to do all this ridiculous nonsense just a couple of years ago.
Actually go on to the White House website and you look up the COVID thing and you read through, it gets very technical at the bottom, but if you read through it, tells you how it happened, who was responsible, all that sort of thing. And then you realize, oh my God, like absolutely lied to. And yet what can we do about it? Nothing. They're all protected. So I don't know. And let's well, at least if the auto pen thing gets proven, then we might be able to do something. But I think with Fauci we're allowed to do something else, because even though we got a pardon, I'm not sure, there's some technical thing on it. But here's the one: he has to have, couldn't have done it alone. So
D in the chat, I want to hear more about Dictator Dan. That sounds hilarious.
What was that, Stormy? I remember sitting outside in the cold wearing a mask, waiting for takeaway at a yes, you had to sit on seats outside the restaurant, watching 10 famous inside eating and joking without, what a joke, not based on science. No, like, yes, the sad thing is, it was a man-made virus that did kill people, and yet no, at this point they know how, they know who, they know where, yet nothing's happening. And we all, I don't know, like, I mean, yeah, I did catch it, but I caught it after I'd been immunised. I've had influenza A before. Oh, that's horrible. I don't know if you've had it, Enzo, but influenza A I've had, it knocks you around. But I was young when I had that. I actually had it when I was pregnant. I was pregnant with my youngest when I got that. But it's just, I don't know. Yeah, I think so. I think it would have been better. What's how they say it? The herd
immunity.
Herd immunity would have probably been better, just to go about your business, because at the end of the day, people lost their lives, not just through that, some of them through see you later, I've had enough. People lost their businesses, family businesses, restaurants that had been around for eons had to close down. Not just here, everywhere, worldwide. Things just change. Now, if you've noticed, people, and I think that's when cinemas started to die, and when, bistros, like, used to have as much as you can eat bistro, you'd go out and you'd walk along and get all you can eat. None of them around where I am anymore. Like, all those things, all the normal stuff. Kids can't go to school. So what were they doing in their spare time? Watching the internet. And here we are as parents. I'm responsible. As parents, we're going, oh, well, I guess they've got to watch something, and you think they're just playing a game or whatever. That's when it all started, all this bloody brainwashing crap. And you know, it's scary.
But to be fair, on the reverse side of that, because there were so many people stuck at home and not allowed to go out and about, platforms like this, where a lot of people would just come online and just talk about random stuff. And it kind of, there was certainly a UFO culture out there, which I feel kind of led to like what we're talking about as a general whole here on the TV show, or our own little show here that we're doing now, that that awareness and realization that something else is going on around us, and you don't necessarily need to be afraid to talk about it anymore. And it's, you know, can we say that's a direct thing? Well, sort of, because there were one of the big things during, like, at least here in the United States, the things that were sold out that you could not get during all the lockdowns and all that stuff, but besides toilet paper, was webcams and microphones. Because there was a buttload of people that wanted to say their piece, like we're doing right now, online, because that was allowed. And you could certainly do that. So there was so much of that there were so many people that did that.
But that's also when people started, like YouTube before COVID, didn't. All this stupid language you've got to use, like you can't say the word.
I got the coof. I couldn't say, you couldn't say the word COVID-19, which was the official name of the thing.
The coronavirus.
Right. It was just nonsensical, the amount of...
I think we're allowed to say it now because I think YouTube used it back. But even things like you can't use the word, you still can't use the word that starts with S that states you've ended yourself. You've got to say unaliving. It's not even proper English. Like, what the hell? It's not even proper grammar is what I mean. Like, they're making people sound like uneducated dumbs because they've got to use different words. Even the word to describe what, you know, Hamas does or ISIS does, the T word, you're not even allowed to say that. So you've got to make it sound different. I'm like, it's just stupid, you know. And so YouTube used to be good. Now it's just a bit crazy. I think they're starting to, you know, ease up a bit on it now, but it's just amazing and amazing how people have forgotten how to do critical thinking. So you get told something from a source, and rather than go, well, although I do trust that source, I'm going to look at other avenues as well, just to be sure, or talk to someone, which I have, for example, with you, Enzo. I've said, I heard this and that and the other. What do you think? Stop watching it, says Enzo, right? And I'll go, oh, okay. And then, you know, and I'll go, yeah, you're right. And then I'll look at something else. But I do go, I do look at a lot of different sources. So at the end of the day, I think, you know what, I'll just continue, because now sometimes too, you certainly can't trust anything on mainstream media. You just can't. It's absolutely, on both sides, absolutely one-sided. So if you've got to really look at people that are going out there and having a look under the radar. You know, people that are on the YouTube, there's a lot of good people, and then again you can watch them and then you go, not sure, and you go back and watch someone else. So you've got to weigh it all up. Critical thinking and have discussions with people. But there's a lot of people you can't even have discussions with anymore because they just yell. You can't talk to them. You just can't have a conversation. They scream at you. Raise their voices and cut you off mid-sentence. And I'm like, well, this isn't a conversation. This is just you saying what it is, and that's the end of it. Whereas I'm generally Yeah, Stormy. I'm generally happy to have a conversation so long as the person I'm having the conversation with lets me finish my sentence, doesn't insult me, doesn't doesn't say anything hateful. As I say, I cut off a lot of people last year. Well, not a lot, a handful of people that celebrated the death of that CEO from the, what do you call it, the health fund thing there. I think it was New York where he was murdered. And yep. People were like, yay, that'll make him think. I'm like, what? so you can kill somebody to get your point across now, can you? That's all right.
That was kind of the beginning where it's like, what the F?
That's when I started to think, what's going on? What is going on in the world when you can say yay to someone being murdered? Like it's
literally assassinated out in the street.
Shot in the back, assassinated. Father, who cares what his job was? There's plenty of people out there that are crappy and nasty at their jobs. What, we're going to start?
Doesn't mean you can assassinate them on sight.
Like, you just disagree. You just go, yeah, hole, why don't you do this? And then you get them the sack, or you get a new job, or you go to a different thing. So, I actually cut off a lot of people, because anyone who says yay to that sort of stuff, to me, is not a good person. You don't. Oh, except I always say this, except for a paedophile. Go for it. Go for it, because they're sickos. No, exactly. Exactly. And what's Regan say? From that time, this became a thing of hate. Human brilliance isn't the best from a gene. Oh. I don't know. It's just, it's mental. Hunger Games gone wrong. I've never seen that movie. Yeah. And actually, Jethro, I was talking to Enzo. Was it yesterday, Enzo? Oh, no, Saturday. I'm forgetting what day it is. Friday for Enzo. You don't have to like somebody, but you don't have to. But you don't make a TikTok post and go, yeah, like, what the hell? And then at least be sure. I did have the conversation with somebody about that and said, yeah, because the word used was hate. I hated him. And I'm like, based on what? And so I thought, well, okay,
you can't even correctly quote anything he ever said, and you hated him so much that you're glad that he's dead.
I got a little quote, and I thought, oh, surely he didn't say that. And then I looked at it in full context, and yes, he said it, but he said it in context with something else. So, but rather than put the full context of what he said, they've cut that bit out. So to be like me saying something and someone snipping it and saying, oh, she said it's okay to, I don't know, do whatever. And I'm like, yeah, no, and I'll be honest, I was one of the ones when that happened. I was in tears. That hit hard for me to watch, because I had been watching him. I had been listening to things he said, but I would watch the full thing. Did I agree with everything? No, because I looked at it differently, and I thought, oh, I don't know, Charlie. But I got it. He wasn't a horrible person. He was a nice person. He was polite to everybody. And I only once saw a clip of him where he sort of said to someone, just go. I don't want to talk to you, and that was because the person was cuckoo. But yeah, no, the world's certainly changed since COVID, and it's gotten worse. It's good though to see some positive things happening. I'm still waiting. It's Sunday night where you are, isn't it, Enzo?
Yes.
I'm not sure what the timeline is with the hostages. Any idea? I'm not sure when that's happening, when the hostages are supposed to be released.
I don't know.
I think they said Monday morning. So not, and I think Israel is more on your timeline, I think, than it is Australia's. Not sure, but I'm looking.
It would still be like it's 3 a.m, like in the UK right now. So
Okay, so somewhere. Yeah, it's stormy. So I'm hoping there's only 20 living out of the 50 that have to be released. So I'm assuming if they still have the bodies, they'll also release the deceased bodies. But 3 hours, yeah. So I'm hoping that goes off without a hitch. Um, um, yeah. So there's a lot of good things happening. Still a lot of bad things happening. Um, still a lot of scary things. Even here in our country, in Australia, it's not looking good with our government at the moment. They've got to go. I don't know when, but they've got to go. They're not good, Enzo. Very, very, very scary. I think we're slowly going down the same path as the UK, and I don't want to. I'll be moving to America. I'll tell you.
yep. What year did you give up your guns? How's that working out for you?
What's that? What was that?
What year was it you gave up your guns? How's that working out for you?
Oh, we didn't really give them up. It was more like people who didn't need them, hand them back in. So, because you can still have a gun here, but you've got to live on a farm or you've got to be part of a shooting club, that sort of thing. Whereas in America, obviously, you can hold them. But then, that's a whole different argument. I look at it, though, and I think, yeah, I think you should still be able, like America's always had the right. And at the end of the day, even here in this country, there's still shootings, there's still things happen. Granted, not schools, not horrible things, but you know what, D, if you're listening, D, the other day on the news, there was a group of people, I think 3, if Dee's listening, she'll probably know better than me because she watches more than I do. But 3 people were stopped by police. There was a shootout. I think one of them might have been injured in the shootout. I think there was a shootout. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there was. Turns out these 3 people in the car were on their way to not a kindergarten, a daycare facility, where people put their babies in. There was a hit. There was going to be a hit on somebody. I'm guessing the person must have worked at the daycare facility, for example, because they were going to the daycare facility with guns, knives, the lot, to do this person in. And I'm thinking, so they're going to storm, their intent was to storm a daycare facility to get this person. But in the interim, who else was going to get hurt while they found this person? So the police thwarted it and it got stopped. But there you go. Doesn't matter if you've got laws saying no guns. If bad people want to do bad things, they'll get the guns. Like the guy who shot the policeman here, and he's still on the run. They still haven't caught him. A guy shot 2 policemen dead here. It's not going to stop you. Bad people will do bad things. So that's where I kind of think, all right. But yeah, and America is a big country. There's more people there than here. So I just think, no, I don't know about Tombstone, but certainly Virginia City, Nevada. I don't know. I understand. I, unlike a lot of people, even unlike a lot of Americans, I've studied American history. So I know why that is there. I know why Americans want to hold on to that so strongly, because there's the history. Now, why may some younger Americans want to? Well, I don't know. They've learnt that that's their right. But certainly when you've looked back from a historical point of view, if certain people didn't have guns back when they did, things might be you still may have a king. You still may be part of the realm. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm just saying it is in the amendment, Jethro. It's the Second Amendment by rights, isn't it? First is freedom of speech. Second is the right to bear arms. And I can't remember the third. What's the third? I'm not good with all of them. But those 2 I absolutely know. But I know where, like, when you look back at the history of things, and I often wonder what the founding fathers, when you read about how they were and what they went through, I often wonder what they would think if they could see the country now. They'd probably be quite sad. It's, you know, but I'm hoping things will get better. But the more I see of things, I think, why? Oh. So I have to tune out sometimes. I'm like, you know, but she'll be right. I think it'll be okay. It'll be all right.
Everything will work out.
Yeah. Actually, did you see that? I don't know if I'm not going to play it, but people can Google it themselves. I'm trying to think of a name. She's running for governor of California. It's a female. God. Oh my God. People, if you want to laugh and be scared at the same time, I can't think. Can you think of what her name was? I'll just find a name. I'm not going to find the clip, and people can have a bit of fun with that.
Super Karen.
Yeah. US. I'm sure there was a quicker way to find a name than what I just typed in. Porter, Katie Porter. So I think they should take away the term "she's a real Karen" and replace it with "she's a real Katie." This woman is nutty. So yeah, Katie Porter. Whoa, what a piece of work. So look it up, guys. Katie Porter, just look it up. She's sitting in her house with a kitchen behind her, and one of her assistants gets in her shot. She doesn't just say, "Oh, excuse me, that's just my assistant. Oh, honey, I'm live. Can you just make sure you don't cut?" Oh, no, get out of my effing shot.
Get out of my shot.
Whoa. I know, Tom Thumb. I know. Oh, hello, Shape. Oh, Shape. I haven't watched it yet, but I've got to watch your episode, that animation. Shape's been working very hard on an animation, and yeah. Anyway, but I think you're working on a bigger one, aren't you, Shape? But I know I love Shape's animations, but Arnie's mate. I don't know if this was her name, Katie Porter. I don't know if she knows Arnie. I don't know. Yes, that's right. Yeah, her ex-husband. She dumped potatoes on his head, and he got, like, I think 3rd degree. But and I'm like, oh my God! But if you want to have a laugh, bring up anything to do with her. Oh, and the other thing that made me laugh, he's a sheriff in Florida. And do you know who I'm talking about? No, he's so funny.
I can imagine.
I'm sure you've seen him. Sheriff Florida, drink flask. I think that's what I'm thinking of. Drink flask. That's it. Yeah. Hang on. Polk County. The Polk County Jail, Polk County, I guess, look, I'll probably get done anyway, but the Polk County sheriff, he's the one that gets up and shows pictures. The other week he showed a picture, I don't know what it was to do with, but he was saying about how you order a prostitute and think you're going to get this, but you get this, right? And he went through this whole thing. Yeah. It was friggin' funny, but look, bugger it, I'll see if I can play it. Hang on, let me see. I'll play it. I've got to give everyone a bit of a laugh. Hang on, how do I get it'll be on you. Here we go. Hang on a second. Is it on the shush? Let's see. Make it bigger. Go back. Pause. Trust me, you're gonna love it. Hang on. Why can't I pause it? I'm getting grumpy. Pause. All right. Okay, you ready? I'll share it. It just makes me laugh. And plus, I love how he talks. You know me and the southern accent. And I'm just gonna.
Did he say vehicle?
No, but I was listening to someone say that the other day, and I went, "Oh, I love that word." I've had Shape say it for me a couple of times, I think. Shape says it, but now I'm hoping. Let's just test the sound. Hang on.
So we arrested Walter Frymere.
Can you hear it? Yep.
He's 51. We got a call that he was naked inside of a restroom at a public park. So we ask, is he naked or buck naked? You know, you can be naked and still have your socks on. But if you're buck naked, you're totally naked. Well, anyway, our deputy gets there. The dude's got all of his clothes on. So we're nice. And we send him out of the park and trespass him and tell him we're not going to arrest you, even though people saw you here without any clothes on. We're going to give you a break. So what does he do? He goes across the street and hops up on what? The railroad train track and trespasses again, just as soon as we gave him the break. The deputy arrests him.
Yeah, I'm just going to pause it for a minute in the hopes that I don't get hit with a thing, but I probably will be. But yeah, if you look him up, from Polk County, the sheriff, every week he does stuff like this. He's brilliant. I love him.
We find out he's already got 25 prior arrests and been to state prison 5 times. So not only is he trespassed, we've got him in possession of meth. Well, I've talked about meth doing crazy stuff to you, right? You ain't gonna believe this. So we put everybody through a body scanner to make sure that they're not trying to bring guns and knives and drugs into the jail. Well, you might have thought Walter was bringing drugs into the jail. He brought a thermos into the jail. That's right. He put it up the exit ramp. You know what I mean? A thermos about this size.
The old prison wallet.
We saw that and we said, dude, what are you doing here? He said, well, I put that inside my body and he didn't swallow it 24 hours earlier. The deputy saved his life. Oh, and that was after Walter threatened to kill the deputy for arresting him. We had to take him to the hospital. They had to find a specialist. It was quite the ordeal, but he's thermaless in the county jail today. I told you you weren't going to believe it. Never seen it before. Have another drink of coffee.
I just love him. I just think he's so funny. But yeah, and the other week
Florida man.
Yeah, Florida man. And then it's just a bit nutty. It's a little bit more money. Yeah, Julie saw that one too. I just love him. If there's anything, if I hear on the news, like if it says, someone from Polk County, I'll go, I'll tune in because it's usually, and anyway, yeah, if you should find the one on the prostitution, I could probably, bugger it, I'll find that one too. Hang on.
Here we go.
Here we go. It's funny. Hang on, Polk County.
Yeah, that's Sheriff Grady Judd, and he does not hold back anything, and it's hilarious.
Polk County Sheriff. It has to be. It's only lately he did this one, and you see the people in the back laughing. It's so funny. Yes. Where is it? Pretty sure it's this one. Oh, that's too long. Hang on. Is it this one? No. Wait a minute. There's one here, but it must have been. I need the shorter version. Sorry, people. I didn't realize I was going to talk about this, but just got hundreds of arrests. This is the one. Is this it? Yeah, 2 minutes. Hang on.
He's got so many. I'm looking at a list, and there's dozens and dozens.
Oh, there's dozens. If you want to, yeah. If you want to, If you want to, hang on, how do I remove that? But this one makes me giggle, and then I'll stop talking about it. But if you want to laugh, you gotta this one. Let me know if the sound doesn't work.
Just can't believe. So
That is good.
you order up a prostitute, right? This prostitute lives with his mother, by the way. He's got a massive criminal history, a 21-year criminal history with 31 criminal charges. So you order up a prostitute, and that's what you think you're getting.
The expression on the guy in the upper over his left shoulder, that's the funny one.
What's that? Sorry? Enzo?
The expression, the guy in the over his left shoulder, that's watch his expression when he gets to the part. You'll
they all can barely keep a straight face. All right. We'll do it again.
You go, wow, that's pretty rough, but any port in a storm. And then the next morning when you wake up, you find out this is who it really is. Yeah, we call that Coyote Ugly. You see, he's laying on your arm in bed. You go, well, it was rough last night, but I've sobered up. I think I'll just chew my arm off and ease away so I don't disturb him or wake him up. All right, so you think you're buying this, you're getting this. He's got 31 criminal charges, and heck, if you're lucky, he doesn't kill you overnight. That was Ernest Holmes from Lakeland. But then you've got Antavion Harrison. You order up, this is a real professional, $1,000 for full service. Ooh. No condom. This person's already on felony probation. They show up and you go, hey. Next morning, you wake up and there he is. At this point in time, you call your brother. You say, do I have a surprise for you? Come get him. This is what we're seeing in these undercover operations, the strangest deviant conduct you can imagine. And then there is Rodrigo Molina Anduez from New York. This is what you order. She's here illegally from Venezuela, $700. Well, she is he. This is what you wake up to.
Careful, Enzo.
This is what we're trying to do, is protect people from this outrageous conduct, because they have no idea many times when they show up what they're getting.
I just love it. I just love it. This is what we call Coyote Ugly. Yeah, chew that arm off. That's an old saying forever. You wake up and you want to chew your arm off. But I just love him. I just watch it, and there's hours of him. He's gold.
Yeah, there is a ton of videos of him doing that.
Yeah, and he's had death threats and everything. He was on I'm just trying to remember, PDB. What's the name of that guy I like to watch? He's got a podcast.
David? Yeah.
Yeah. And he was on that New York. What's that sort of kind of Caucasian stuff? Oh, okay. Oh, thank you, Big Ben. Yeah, I dyed my hair, made it darker. It'll wash out. I'll go back to blonde eventually. Thank you. And look, my pretty cat. Look at her looking. What?
She is sprung.
Like, what are you touching me for? Oh, I've been completely off. We'll end the show in a minute, and it's been really good. Thanks for everybody who's popped in. And if you missed the start, Ben, or go back, and Jethro, go back to the start. We were talking about a whole heap of interesting stuff. So, yeah, she's a cute little rag doll. She's my baby. What was I going to say? I've forgotten now. See, I talk too much, Enzo. Oh, my snake. That's what I was going to tell you. I've been taking.
We're going. Okay.
I've been getting my snake out. I fed her yesterday, but I get her out and I go and sit outside. I've got a swing chair outside, and I go and sit out on the sun, and I hold her up. And she's getting so used to being handled now. So now I just sort of sit her there, and she lays, and she feels so soft, and she likes the sun, and she curls up in my hands, and she looks around. So she'll be getting cute soon. But I do that every day, go out and have a cup of coffee and take her out. And then I bring her in, and I put her back in her enclosure, and I grab out my lizard, bearded dragon lizard, and I bring her out, and I sit there with her in the sun, and I've got a little tree, and I sit her in the little tree, and she gets some sun. But I watch them both, because I don't want I don't want any birds flying over and getting them. Oh, you only missed 15 minutes. Cool, you've been here that long. Love you too, Jethro. What's that? I always go outside with my bearded dragon and turtle. Yeah, they love the fresh sunshine. I'm going to make up, Ben, I'm going to make up something portable, escapable, like not so she can escape, but portable, that so if I'm out in the garden, I can just pop her like down. I have tried that before with my bearded dragon, but then she runs in. So I had like a guinea pig cage that had like a hutch. Instead of sitting in the sun, she runs, the bearded dragon does, and hides in the hutch. I'm like, oh, sort of defeats the purpose of being out in the fresh air. So she tends to like to be held instead, and then she's fine, and she has a look around. It's a she or a he. I can't remember now. I've held her up to the light. I'll have to do it again, but you can tell with them, that's easy. The snake's more difficult, and I don't really care what the snake is, a boy or a girl. But there you go. So that's been my week. How's your week been, Enzo?
Rainy and quiet.
Oh, there you go. It's been raining here too, which is unusual. What's that? Karen, if you hold on a moment, I will get you a link for exactly what you want for that. Oh, thank you. Get me the link. No props.
All the answers to all the questions. That's fantastic.
Yeah, have you got actually, I'll just double check. You should be able to put up a link. I'll double check. I'm going into the Facebook now to check you, because I know if someone's not a, what do you call it, a mod, I think you can't share things. I'm just going to have a look and see if you've got a wrench. Oh, conscience, not quick. Let me go. And live here. And there. Nothing's quick. And there I am. There we go. Where are you, Big Ben? There you go. Add and save. There. That should make Ben thingo, so that means he can share a link. There you go. All right, done. Oh, I think. Hang on. Oh my God, I'm useless. There we go. I would love the winning lotto numbers. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? It's all right. I've made you a mod, Jethro, so you can do it. Yes, at the moment, Victoria, it's daylight savings time here, but in Queensland we don't have it, which I'm happy about. But they've got it in Victoria, so it's 1:30 almost here, and it's 2:30. Oh, thanks. Hang on. Let me see. How can I? Oh, that'll be in the thing. It's all right. I'm talking to myself. If I go back here, I can copy. It shows up copy. I'm just going to open it now, so I've got it there when I shut down the computer. Here, paste and click and there we go. Thank you. Got it. Excellent. Thanks so much for that, Jethro. I mean, Big Ben, not Jethro. Jethro, it's the, you put me off with the with the whatchamacallits, the Tats Lotto numbers. Dear. Enzo, working with the bar still behind you. Yeah. Enzo likes the bar. He's always got the bar.
A few folks back there. It is a Sunday night. So not
Sunday
a lot
night.
of folks. Nope.
Yeah, it's Monday here. Well, everybody, and thank you again for that, Ben. I'm going to look at that in a minute. Yeah, I'll have a look because I want to get something, because I did get a lead, like you got a little thing you can put on your lizard and you can take them for a walk, but they don't work, and I'm worried she's going to slip out. So I'm going to look at how to make one. I'll make one to fit up. So there you go, because they do love being outside.
Leash, kind of a
so you can take them for a walk, because they're super fast. But I'd like to take her to the shops or something, and pop her up on my shoulder and just have the little lead. But then people might scare her. So probably safer just to have her here with me. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed today. As I say, I sort of threw it on Enzo last minute to talk about the subjects we did. But he did well. You did well, Enzo. So was that a UAP? Why? What did you see? Did the cat jump behind me or something? So have a wonderful Sunday evening for those of you still in America. Fingers crossed that everything goes well for the poor hostages in Israel in a few hours' time. I'm being positive, and have a great week coming up. And I intend to be putting out something else this week. I'm pulling my finger out. I've got my house under control. All's good, so I've got time to work on things. And if you haven't already, go over and see Shape's channel. I know he's not still here, he's just popped in for a second, but go in and check him out. He's working on a really big animation, and they're really hard. So they're a lot more work than just regular stuff. Thank you, Ben, and have a good day, Dee. And Julie, have a lovely evening, and I hope that you have a good week coming. To everybody who tuned in, thank you so much. And so I shall say goodbye, and thanks, Enzo. Thank you so much. See you, everybody. Bye.